Hi everyone, so now I'm going to show you what I've done for my project 3. Basically, I took my project 2, which was the mini little blurbs about me, and I created a single extra page of my resume. What I did first is I went through my single page and I made some updates prior to turning it in, but also after turning it in to create some different color schemes like suggested. This is at the 200 pixel screen, and so as I increase that, of course, it's still the same layout, but I've changed the color schemes to give it a little bit of breakup as it was suggested and mentioned, and I got some commendation for it from some friends. I had them look at it, and I was hoping you guys like it too. I'd like some more input. If you think this main page could still be any better, please let me know. The one thing I changed is I've added this resume link, which will bring you to my resume page. What I tried to emulate, and I did start again down at 200. So here's the 200, almost. So at 200, this is what it looks like. I've been doing things a long time, so my resume is quite lengthy, so I may consider hiding a bunch of this at the minimum screen width if I can learn how to do the hiding. If anybody wants to tell me how that's done, that might help because it gets pretty lengthy. But as I increase the screen, it starts to look more like a normal resume. Except I do have links to the different sections, so like that'll bring you to my education if you're interested in that, or if you're just interested in my work experience, then there's these. And so that's basically what I did. My goal was to emulate my regular resume, the one I actually send to employers. So what I couldn't find is I really like my fonts and layouts that I have in my resume, and I wanted to try to emulate that here. I couldn't find enough similarities, so I tried to find the best I could to make it. So again, I was trying to emulate my regular one. One goal I would like to do, and I could use some advice and help on, is first of all, don't take this wrong. I have some work to do on my resume. I've added to it. It's always been told to me never have more than 2 pages. So this will get shrunk into here. It's something I have to work on after I've added some content in here. So every time I add content, I have to try to shrink the content again and get rid of a 3rd page. This will happen to you too as you go on in your careers. However, the question I was aiming to ask is, does anybody know, I would like to create a link in here to my PDF. I have the web page here, but I would like to provide the PDF so that it can be printed if they wanted to print. This looks better printed than this probably would, so I wanted to give them the link to be able to get this file, download the PDF, and print it if they wanted to. So I would appreciate that input. Other than that, any other suggestions you might have on what you think might look good. I will mention I'm not going to add any other colors to the resume page. A resume should only be 2 colors, a third if you really want to emphasize stuff, but I don't really have anything to overemphasize. So I'm trying to keep this as black and white as possible, except on a screen I prefer not to have the white. You can see how staring at this can be somewhat painful than this, but this is obviously white paper for printing. This is for viewing on the screen, and I still want to keep it comfortable. So just the 2 colors is all I'm going to do for my resume. Thank you. I hope you guys have a great night, and I look forward to your, oh, I'm sorry. I'm forgetting to show you my codes. So this is my code for my main page, which is basically the same setup as before. I just made a couple changes in the lists so that, let me see if I bring back to home. I changed this list in here, so from the way I had it before. So that's the one change I made in code there. This would be my resume list. So I've got my link back to home. I've got my navigation. I go into all the different parts of the resume. I sectioned things off. A couple sections have paragraphs. I threw in the horizontal rule and then styled it in CSS. And then all my work experience and education are all done as separate lists. So each thing is set up as lists, just as it was mentioned in our class the other day. And then in my CSS, it's quite lengthy with all the media queries. So starting at the top, most of these are here from before. It's the same things I had going on before, other than the colors I've added for that main page. However, I had to add in specific things to affect the resume page. So I did make additions to this as well. So hopefully it's not too cumbersome when you take a look at it. And now what I was saying is I do appreciate and thank you for your input, and I look forward to looking at your projects as well. Have a great night.